Hey everyone, and today we have some potentially earth-shattering news in the world of politics. Buckle up, because the Democratic National Convention might be heading towards a historical showdown next month. That's right, folks, we could be witnessing a contested convention, something America hasn't seen in decades. Now, let's dive into some history. Remember Dwight Eisenhower? His victory over Robert Taft in 1952 was secured by a credentials fight at the convention. Or how about Barry Goldwater in 1964, whose victory was solidified by a platform issue vote? And let's not forget Ronald Reagan's narrow defeat by Gerald Ford in 1976, previewed by a rules proposal loss. So what's brewing this time around? With President Joe Biden facing mounting pressure from party leaders, we could see the most contested Democratic convention in over half a century. But what does that even mean? Let's break it down. First off, the convention rules will play a critical role. Who gets to vote, when they get to vote, and how they vote will all be under intense scrutiny. We have delegates who are pledged but not bound, party insiders who may or may not vote on the first ballot, and superdelegates who could tip the scales. It's a labyrinth of political manoeuvring. Elaine Kamarck, a seasoned DNC member, says, "If there's a contested convention, there's always a test vote." This means we might see early procedural votes that could dramatically shift the momentum. Imagine Vice President Kamala Harris quickly seizing the nomination or a broader, more competitive contest opening up. The stakes couldn't be higher. Now, what if Biden decides to stand down? That's when things get even more unpredictable. The pledged delegates become free agents. And we could see anything from a quick coalescence around a single candidate to a chaotic multi-ballot showdown. Let's answer a crucial question. What exactly is a contested convention? A contested convention happens when no single candidate has secured a majority of delegates ahead of the party's national convention. This means that the nomination isn't decided in the primaries and caucuses alone, but will instead be determined through negotiations, voting, and potentially multiple ballots during the convention itself. In a contested convention, delegates may need to vote several times, and the process can involve intense debates over rules and procedures. Alliances may form, and candidates will have to work hard to sway delegates to their side. It's a high-stakes, dramatic event that can redefine the political landscape. Think of it as a political chess game where every move counts and the outcome is uncertain until the very end. It's rare, it's intense, and it's exactly what makes politics so unpredictable and fascinating. Alright, let's dive into another pressing question. Could Vice President Kamala Harris become the nominee if President Biden steps down? The short answer, yes, she absolutely could. But it's not a straightforward path. If Biden steps down, the delegates who were pledged to him would become free agents. This means they are no longer obligated to vote for Biden and can choose any candidate they prefer. The convention itself would then play a crucial role. Delegates would need to be persuaded, and procedural votes could determine the ease with which Harris, or any other candidate, could secure the nomination. If the delegates want a quick resolution, Harris might coalesce support swiftly. On the other hand, an open field could lead to a broader contest, possibly involving multiple ballots. So, while Harris has a strong chance due to her current position and influence within the party, the convention's dynamics and the decisions of the delegates will ultimately decide. It's a fluid situation, and anything can happen in the high-stakes environment of a contested convention. Alright folks, let's dive into another fascinating question. What are the historical precedents for contested conventions? Let's explore some key moments in political history where contested conventions played a decisive role. Contested conventions have been pivotal moments in American politics, often shaping the direction of entire campaigns and even the nation. Here are some notable examples. First up, the 1924 Democratic National Convention. This is perhaps the most famous contested convention, requiring a staggering 103 ballots to nominate John W. Davis. It was a dramatic and exhausting process that highlighted the deep divisions within the party at the time. Then there's the 1952 Republican National Convention, where Dwight Eisenhower's campaign managed to secure his nomination over Robert Taft through a credentials fight. This battle over which state delegations would be seated ultimately determined Eisenhower's victory, setting the stage for his presidency. Fast forward to 1976, when the Republican National Convention featured a tight contest between Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan. Reagan proposed a rule requiring candidates to announce their vice presidential running mates before the nomination vote. His defeat in this rules proposal was a preview of his narrow loss to Ford for the nomination. The 1980 Democratic National Convention wasn't technically a contested convention, since the outcome was mostly settled beforehand, but it still had significant drama. Jimmy Carter faced a strong challenge from Ted Kennedy, and while Carter secured the nomination, the convention highlighted the ideological rift within the Democratic Party. So these historical precedents show us that contested conventions are rare but incredibly impactful. They reveal the underlying tensions and power struggles within parties, often serving as a decisive battleground for the nomination. Could we see something similar this year with the Democratic National Convention? Only time will tell. What do you think about these historical contested conventions? Do you see parallels with today's political landscape? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates on this unfolding political saga. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.